Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my new channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the G7, or should I call them the pussycat trolls. Before I continue, I want to quickly ask you guys to like, subscribe, and do all the sharing and commenting, whatever you can to support this channel. I really appreciate it. If you can donate, that would be even greater. Whatever you guys can do to support this channel. We've hit 4,000 subscribers, which in less than a month, which is amazing. And we will continue to grow faster and faster. So I'm hoping to carry on making these great videos for you guys, also to entertain you and give you a bit of a laugh and talk about politics as well. So anyway, I'll continue with the show and enjoy. So as you know, there's a G7 summit happening in UK at the moment in a place called Cornwall, and you can see from the background Cornwall is famous for its beaches. We've probably got the best beaches in Cornwall, and the whole of Cornwall has pretty much been cleared, to be honest. We've spent about 90 million for the summit. You can see here the total bill for the entire summit could exceed 90 million. So I hope it's bloody worth it for these guys. 90 bloody million for a summit. I mean, can you believe that shit? So I want to talk about what this picture is, guys. And when I first looked at this picture, I found it really strange. I actually laughed. I actually laughed my head off. Looks like a bunch of gangsters, isn't it? But I had a look around and I thought it looks very much like this. They look like a K-pop group. Look at that. There's 9 members here. There's 9 members here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I was thinking of a name for this K-pop group, but I couldn't find a good name. And then I looked around and I found this, and I thought, bloody hell, that's perfect, Pussycat Dolls. But then I thought, hang on a second, I actually love the Pussycat Dolls. I love the music and I love Nicole Scherzinger, so it would be a bit of an insult to them if I called them Pussycat Dolls. So I decided to call them Pussycat Trolls, and I think that's perfect. So what is the G7 anyway? What is this K-pop reject group? Okay, so technically what the G7 is a list of these countries: Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, United Kingdom and the United States. The axis of evil, most people would say. And what do? This is what they do, blah blah blah. Here you go. The original scope of G7 has been expanded, and this covers a large number of international issues, including security. So just remember this, guys: security, gender equality, climate change, trade and poverty. So that's what the G7 goes. There's a bunch of powerful countries in the world. Sorry guys, I mean so-called powerful. They're supposed to be the top GDP advanced economies in the world, but you can see from this list here, there's one important country missing from here. That's China. And how can you have a G7 without China? It just makes no sense. There's a bunch of small countries who think they're very powerful, think they're very good, and who think they can govern world issues in terms of security, climate change. They think they can pretty much make the rules between those 7 countries and come up with ideas which will govern the rest of the world. Well, they're living in dream world, really, if that's what they think. These 7 countries follow something called a rule-based order. So you may have heard this branded around by Blinken, by Biden, even by Boris Johnson, a rule-based international order. Well, let me tell you something, that's just utter bullshit, because there's only one order in the world, and that's via the UN. And the UN covers all countries around the world, and if there's an international based order, it should be the UN based order. This rule based order, so-called rule based order, it only is for America or for any of these countries who basically want to do what they want. So I'll give you an example. These 7 G7 countries, following their rule based order, had started 2 world wars. Europe was invaded by France. Russia was invaded twice by the US and other G7 members, being the Cold War as well. China was invaded by Japan. by the French and the British in the Opium Wars. Vietnam was invaded by US. North Korea was invaded by US during the Korean War. Iraq, Afghanistan, Libya, Syria, all invaded by the US. And none of these countries had followed the UN at all. They followed a unilateral scheme called the rule-based order. And it's utter bullshit. It basically means these 7 countries can do whatever the fuck they want, and no other country can do it. It's just utter bullshit. So you might hear a lot of them say rule-based order. China is not following rule-based order, blah blah blah. China is following UN-based order. They're not following your stupid rule-based order. So next time you hear this, guys, just remember what the difference is between rule-based order and international-based order. So it's just utter bullshit. It's just the wording, and they try and be a bit clever to fool the public, but a few people can read between the lines, like myself and a few others. But a lot of the majority of the public are just fooled, But it's not their fault, because they obviously don't know any better. So what was discussed in this meeting, guys? I want to just let you know that, everyone knows this meeting was anti-China, and whatever they were discussing behind closed doors, 99% of it was about China. I can guarantee you that. But what else has been discussed? So, okay, this is what has been discussed. They've agreed that they're going to give up to $1 billion worth of COVID vaccines around the world to development countries. But $1 billion is nothing, guys. Between these 7 countries, there's $1 billion is nothing. And World Health Organization has said 11 billion doses are needed to help with the global pandemic, but only 1 billion between the 7 countries. And do you know how much UK is giving? Bloody 100 million only. 100 million. Can you believe that shit? Fucking stingy bastards, I'm telling you. The other thing that's been discussed, which I'm going to be talking in quite a lot of detail actually, is they want a scheme which is going to be matching the China's Belt and Road project. And when I first heard this, I literally laughed and fell off my chair. I just couldn't believe how stupid this scheme is. So I'm going to show you some examples, guys. First of all, they're talking about this alternative to Belt and Road scheme. And look at this. G7 countries stand ready to provide 40 trillion in the coming years for infrastructure programs across the developing world. 40 bloody trillion. Do you know how much China has spent on their Belt and Road so far? 3.7 trillion, and they've almost finished. Over 100 countries are involved, and they almost finished with the Belt and Road. I think there's a few more years left, but most of it's done. And then you got 40 trillion. The G7 countries, where they're going to pull out 40 trillion from? Out their arses. All of these countries in the G7, I mean, seriously, guys, nearly all of them, they're all having financial issues. United States, UK is bloody in the dog shit at the moment. Italy is having a huge recession. It's the worst country that's having a recession in Europe at the moment, and they literally can't make money to save their lives. France and Germany are a bit better, but Japan hasn't had a economy now for over 20-30 years. Their economy has completely stagnated, and they're in a huge recession as well. So how the fuck are they going to pull out 40 trillion from? America's 28 trillion in debt. So where are they going to get the 40 trillion from? It just makes no sense. And when you think about it, guys, when it comes to infrastructure, there's no better country in the world than China. If you want a road built, if you want bridge built, if you want your infrastructure done, you want to get it done from China. It will be quick, it will be cheap, and they've got all the experience, they've got the know-how. They can literally build a road in days, depending how long it is, obviously. But when you look at infrastructure projects around UK and America, they're literally dog shit, guys. Nothing's happening. They're just building up cost after cost. Things overrun. They hardly finish. And look at the cost. I'll give you 2 examples. Because I'm from UK, we're building something called the HS2. The HS2 is a railway line, a high-speed railway line. It's not as fast as China's, but still, it's fast. It's going between London to Birmingham to Manchester, and here it is. I mean, a lot of you probably don't know much about UK, but this is the line anyway. The big problem is the cost, and this is the problem here. HS2 won't be completed until 2035 at a cost of 100 billion. Can you believe it? 100 billion. And do you know what the funny thing is? A lot of media is not going to pick this up. A lot of people will not pick this up. I've picked it up, but I'm going to enlighten you guys. This is absolutely ridiculous. So when the HS2 line is finished, this is an example. London Euston to Birmingham is estimated at 45 minutes. So once it's finished, guys, it's going to take 45 minutes to get from London to Birmingham. So just remember that, 45 minutes. So how long does it take currently? So if you look at this, London to Birmingham, 1 hour 10 minutes is how much it takes normally. And I know because I go to Birmingham a lot. So you're saving 20 minutes. So can you see the problem here? You're bloody saving 20 minutes, but you're spending 100 billion just to save 20 minutes. Can you believe this shit? Can you believe how much money they're fucking wasting just to save 20 minutes? We're not talking about Chinese high-speed railways where trains go 300 miles an hour or 600 miles an hour. This is bloody 125, 150 miles an hour. So just to save 20 minutes, they're going to bloody spend 100 billion on this project. Can you believe it? And this is the cost of going from London to Birmingham. So you can see from London Euston to Birmingham. And you can see the cost. It's average £50. So how much do you think it's going to cost when the HS2 is complete? It's going to cost more than double that, right? Just to save 20 minutes. And who's going to be stupid enough to go on those HS2 trains? I know I'm not going to. Just for 20 minutes, I might as well just pay for these expensive, tickets. I mean, even now it's bloody expensive. £50 to get to London to Birmingham. And it's only it's just over 100 miles away, guys. It's not like thousands of miles away, like China. China's cities are thousands of miles away from each other. This is only 100 miles away. I think 120 to be exact, 127. So it's nothing. And £50 you have to pay just to get from London to Birmingham. And it's ridiculous. And when the HS2 is complete, how do you think they're going to want to get the money back? How do you think they're going to get 100 billion back from? They're going to obviously put the ticket prices up. No one's going to pay for that shit. No one's going to pay £100 or however much they charge just to save 20 minutes. Who is stupid enough to do that? Nobody. You're not saving 1 hour. Well, if you're saving 1 hour, then yeah, it's worth it. But you're not. You're only saving 20 bloody minutes. Seriously, this is the worst stupid thing I've ever seen in my life. Anyway, this project has been going on for years now, and it's already over budget. Already, costs are spiraling out of control. It's delayed, and the same with America. America does not have a high-speed rail line, and you can see California high-speed rail cost overruns escalate, and even the Californian high-speed rail is costing over 100 billion in total. I think it says here somewhere. I read somewhere. Yeah. You can see here, today the cost stands at 100 billion and there appears no end in sight. So tell me something, guys. Are you going to bloody trust your infrastructure projects to the UK or to America or any other G7 countries when they got such a bad reputation when it comes to infrastructure? All the infrastructure in America is bloody crumbling. Same in UK. I mean, Germany is not bad, but I can't say the same for the other G7 countries like Italy, places like that. But Japan might benefit from it. But it's absolutely ridiculous. This stupid scheme to counter the Belt and Road Initiative. And let me tell you something, guys. Do you think they're going to give the 40 trillion to these poor countries? Do you think, oh, here's 40 trillion, go build your infrastructure? Do you think they're going to just give it? No, it's going to be a bloody debt trap. all these stories they're telling everyone that China's a bloody debt trap by giving these countries money to build the infrastructure. They're going to be doing the same, but with a much bigger price. So they're going to be doing the debt traps themselves. Do you think America or any other G7 countries are going to be graceful enough to just give these poor countries money? No, they're going to want it back, and they're going to want it back with a profit. So it's the most stupidest idea I've ever seen I've heard in my whole life. And plus with this Belt and Road thing, right? And obviously China's helping a lot of countries with the infrastructure. Do you think these poor countries are going to borrow more money from the West as well? Do you think they've got enough money? They have barely enough money to cover their Belt and Road scheme. And plus they have to give that money back to China. Do you think they're going to borrow more money from the West and put them into more trouble, put them into more debt? It's the stupidest idea I've ever seen in my whole entire life, guys. This is absolutely ridiculous. So the final thing I wanted to say is is this one. This is the global minimum tax of 15%. So basically, this means that a lot of companies like Apple, Google, they have headquarters abroad, mainly in Ireland, because Ireland provides a corporation tax of 12.5%, which is lower than this 15%, which means a lot of companies save on tax. A lot of these countries are tax havens and things like that. So what this global 15% does is these companies will have to pay 15% tax minimum, and if they don't, then the country they originate from will have to cover the rest. So for example, if Apple's headquarters are in Ireland and they're paying 12.5% corporation tax, global corporation tax, then they owe America another 2.5% because America will set minimum of 15%. So they will have to pay America the extra 2.5%. So this extra 2.5% is not going to go to Ireland. It's going to go straight to America. So can you see the problem here? So all of these countries that are tax haven, countries like Ireland and other countries, they're going to be missing out. And the countries that are going to be benefiting are the G7 countries like America. Because most of the global top 100 companies are coming from America, but there's a few from obviously UK and a few from Germany and Japan, but most of it is from America. So if America sets this, they're gonna make the most money out of it, because a lot of companies like Google, Apple, Facebook, they have branches abroad which they use to kind of not pay any tax. And a lot of these countries, they take on Apple and they take on Tesla and a few other companies, and they give them really good tax benefits, and they say, look, you come to a country, we'll do your manufacturing for you, and you don't have to pay as much tax. We're just having you here, you will give us jobs, and that's great and good enough for us. So a lot of countries make their own agreement. So you got to remember, this 15% global minimum tax is mainly going to benefit the G7 countries. And for this to work, guys, a lot of people don't realize, for this to work, every single country in the world has to agree to this. So Ireland's not going to agree to it. Ireland's going to say, screw you, I'm not going to agree to this. We've set our own tax rules, and basically, if you want to get more money out of Facebook, well, that's your problem, but we're not going to agree to this. We have our own tax policy. So for this to work, all other countries have to agree to this G7's minimum tax of 15%, otherwise it's not going to work. And I can tell you honestly, China's not going to agree to it. China's going to look at it and say, okay, fuck no, I ain't agreeing to this shit, because Chinese companies are not going to benefit. And also, a lot of investment going into China, they don't pay the full 15%, they pay less than that. So that's going to affect China's profits as well, China's business. So China's not going to agree to it, no way. And I'm pretty sure China's stance, as well as the rest of the global countries, they're going to make a stand saying, who are these bloody G7 countries, these little countries who think they're powerful? Who are they setting world tax limits and how to run our countries and how much tax we should give to these companies, etc.? Who are they to tell us what to do when it comes to tax or taxation? And there is no way any of these countries are going to agree to this. And China is definitely not going to agree to it, I'll tell you that now. And if China does not agree to this, then this is going to be bad news for companies like Facebook and Apple, because they're going to be making less profit because they're going to have to kind of cough up more money for tax, which means the consumer will have to pay more, because end of the day, guys, it's always the consumer that ends up paying more. It's not, it's not the government, it's not the business. If Apple is making not enough profit, these savings normally go to the consumer. But if they're losing money, if they're not making enough money, the consumer ends up paying more. So it's bad news for the consumer, and they just don't realize this. Going back to the Trump days, where he doesn't really think about things before putting these stupid tariffs. End of the day, it's the consumer that's going to hurt. So this is going to hurt American companies. It's not going to hurt Chinese companies. It's not going to hurt any other companies. It's going to hurt the G7 companies. And if all these other countries do not agree with this, then it's just going to hurt the American companies more, really. And they don't really think about it like that. And ultimately, it's the consumers that are going to be paying for it. And don't forget, if China do not sign up to this, then a lot more investment is going to go to China, because people are not going to invest in countries that G7 and other countries that G7 has signed up to with this scheme. They're not going to invest there because they're going to have to end up paying more tax. So where are they going to go? They're going to go to China. They're going to go to Vietnam or other places where this has not been agreed with. So China would benefit a lot if this goes ahead, and the stupid idiots don't even think of it like that. This was obviously Biden's idea, and I believe this was part of the infrastructure plan that he was doing in America, the 2 trillion or 6 trillion infrastructure plan, and this was part of it. So it is Biden's idea, but he's not looking at the big picture. All this is going to do is affect American businesses and American consumers, and that's all it's going to do. And let him do it, and it's good news for China and bad news for America, I guess. And talking about China, the final and the biggest topic that the G7 were discussing is obviously China. They were talking about all the COVID origins. They were talking about all the Xinjiang and all these fake human rights abuses and stuff like that. So the G7, as I told you before, number one thing is to talk about security. So where the fuck is Palestine? Where the fuck is all these other human rights abuses going on over the world? Where is Yemen? Where is Syria? Where is Palestine? Why are they not discussing that? And why are they discussing this fake China Xinjiang human rights issue? There's no evidence. When you got plenty of evidence what's happening to Palestine, you see plenty of evidence in Syria, you see plenty of evidence in Yemen and all these other countries around the world. Why can't they do anything about that? No, it's just China. Do you see the problem here? Do you see the double standards? Can you see the hypocrisy? Can you see the problem, guys? Seriously, can you believe this shit? These 7 powerful countries, supposed to be seven powerful countries in the world, are supposed to discuss things like security and things like that. And have they discussed security around the world? There's millions dying of hunger in Syria, in Yemen. Do they even talk about that? Do they care about that? There's Middle East, there's issues in Africa. Do they care about that? Did they discuss that? No, nothing. And what about climate change? Have they discussed climate change? No, nothing. Nothing, absolutely nothing on climate change. Literally nothing. Seriously, this is what you call rule-based order. This is imperialistic powers. When people see the G7, these are the same gangsters who wage war on other countries to get what they want, loot other countries. Loot countries like India, China. They want to invade, they want to loot. America literally has killed off all its, Indian population. The Red Indians, literally destroyed them all, destroyed their culture. If you go to America, do you see any Red Indians? Do you see any Red Indian culture anywhere? No, because they've all been killed. Seriously, there's only a few left, and a few can't do anything. If you go to Australia, do you see many Aborigines around? No, they've all been killed as well. There's only a few left, and their culture is even gone. You got imperialistic Japan, you got imperialistic Britain, you got imperialistic France. Even Germany in the past has, had 2 world wars and stuff like that. But Germany right now, is the only country that's defending China. So I'm not going to hate on them too much. They are under a lot of pressure, and they are defending China, and they can see Merkel is a friend of Xi Jinping. So and Germany is trying its hardest, but all this pressure from the US, all this pressure from UK and the Five Eyes and the G7, all these stupid groups, the Quad, all of these groups contain China. And Biden came to the bloody G7 because only thing in his mind was China. He doesn't care about security around the world. He doesn't care about climate change. All he cares about China. And that's the reason he came to the G7, to talk to the rest of the G7 guys and find ways to contain China. And that's the only thing he was, or the most of the things he was talking about. I guarantee it. But you know what? Nobody gives a shit about G7. It's just a bunch of small countries. You're not even important anymore, guys. Seriously, Italy, Japan, Britain. I mean, look at your economy. Your economy's dying or dead. America, look how much money, 28 trillion in debt. How much longer do you think America's going to last with all that debt? How much longer? If you look at Russia and China, they are much more powerful economically and military, and they're not even in the G7. Why is that? Seriously, people need to ask serious questions about the G7. Or should I call it the pussycat trolls? Shall we look at the picture again, guys? Seriously, they look like a bunch of Love Island rejects. I don't know if you guys watch Love Island, but we have a show in UK called Love Island. They look like a bunch of rejects from Love Island. I think K-pop is rejects is a compliment to these guys. But anyway, guys, I'm going to end it there. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Appreciate all your support. Donate what you can on Patreon or buy me a coffee if you like the video. And don't forget to comment and like and share this video as much as you can. Let's get our subscribers up and let's get to 5,000. That'll be absolutely amazing. Anyway, guys, see you guys soon. Bye.